Welcome back, Bold Like a Leopard, and I just wanted to give a channel update as well as a personal update. So last week I finished the contract with the company I was working with, so currently, obviously, until I get a new gig, I have a little more time to do some videos. Have to say, though, that even before I finished the job, I was working on a project that's not really video related, but it could be something that would, I had to share with other creators or share on here, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to really have the most impact with it. It is an investigative or research story. Similar, I guess, well, it's not really similar to the one I did with John Mattis and Rachel Maddow, but it's the same sort of work, a lot of research and looking behind the scenes and things like that. So expect to hear about that hopefully sometime this month because it's just something I've been working on, and I think it is something that you'll definitely find interesting if you follow this channel. Now, remember last month I said it's possible that at a certain point I will stop doing videos on this channel or reduce the amount of work that I put in here or the amount of videos per week. And I think that would be a fair status at the moment too, that I'm not necessarily going to increase work on the channel and putting out videos like I was. At one point I was putting out 2 uploads a day, sometimes 3 on the weekend. It just isn't really paying off. I'm sure that you've heard from other YouTubers that it's the same issue. And to be honest with you, I think that YouTube isn't the best place to make an impact at the moment. Now, on Bitchshoot, I would say that the growth is a little better, but it's still really not enough to justify that much effort. And I'll tell you what, there are Bitchshoot videos, even though I have a Bitchshoot subscriber base that is less than a sixth of my YouTube subscriber base. I have 3 times as many views on Bitchshoot as I do on YouTube. So really, I think that Bitchshoot is a good alternative, but I think that you guys, if you're not already subscribed there, you should be subscribed. I think that eventually, some of these smaller channels are simply going to be eliminated by default by YouTube. It wouldn't be that hard. They're already going after very large channels, very successful ones. They have repeatedly tried to delete ones that have significant followings, like Black Pigeon Speaks. And this was something that I think was in the makings for a while. YouTube probably didn't want to do it initially, but at a certain point, this type of mentality took over. I'm sure some of you remember the E.T. Williams channel, Doctor of Common Sense. Okay, this was before I was even into politics or into political YouTube. He was hilarious. He just had these vulgar, disgusting rants about Obama that were this guy was a genius. And if he's still out there and watching, we need you back, buddy. But yeah, he was banned by not only YouTube, but virtually all of these other platforms. And this was before the InfoWars bans and all of that. I think it was in 2016 that he was taken off the air on many of these platforms. So yeah, a lot of these people who were warning signs along the way have kind of been forgotten. And it's because of people like that there was something worth doing on YouTube. But unfortunately, it's because of what happened to them that it maybe isn't worth it to invest as much time and effort into YouTube. And some people invest money. I don't invest money into YouTube. I learned the lesson from paying to gain audience on Facebook that really at a certain point Facebook just takes your money and doesn't give you anything. And they pretend, nobody listened. I guess nobody liked your stupid ad. So, yeah, I think that there's going to be less of an emphasis on YouTube, but there could be a couple more live streams per week. So just pay attention to that. In fact, today, there could be a live stream with a guest. I think if I'm doing a live stream, I would probably prefer to do it with hosting someone else or being on someone else's live stream. The solo live streams, I'll tell you what the problem is. I do get distracted by the chat and I go off on tangents and things like that. And I think that the interaction with someone else is a little bit better of a way to maintain the focus. If you saw the live stream from Sunday with the memes of destruction, I think it was a good balance because, first of all, it was a balance of viewpoints because the memes of destruction is a more liberal perspective, and I'm more of both a conservative and a libertarian perspective, but not like a doctrinaire tradcon perspective. So that was one issue, but also I think that the presentation was a little more focused, and I was able to. I think I do well with responding to questions rather than just shooting my own thoughts out into the ether. It is a little easier with uploads because you're not distracted by the chat. On the live stream, unless you're completely ignoring the chat, which I have to try to do, it's hard for me to maintain focus. Other thoughts. So I went through the issues with the channel and the live streams and everything. So in terms of the job that I just completed, I would have been perfectly happy to continue there. I could go there. It's an issue that after a year, contractors are generally not kept in order for the company to not have to extend benefits. So, I'm not happy about not being able to extend because I think I was pretty well adjusted over there. And I did get along with the team most of the time. But it was something that was entirely expected. It was something I knew of probably in the winter, and that's why I was looking for a new job since then. And unfortunately, a lot of the opportunities that have come along don't seem to be things that I'd be very good at. I'm considering going back and doing a little bit more of a specialized training I'm a mechanical engineer. The field that I've been in the most is medical technology. But there's a lot of different subfields and specializations that are out there that you can go into as a mechanical engineer. And it's an in-demand field, but you do have to be able to go and figure out what you're good at. You can't just go in there generically, hang up your degree and say, yeah, I fit the criteria. So I was pretty well adjusted to the environment I was in, but let's be honest, not all companies are the same, and I think that the next company, it's going to be difficult to find one that's the same sort of environment as the last one. The group dynamics that I was in were interesting. I had a team leader who was Korean, and the manager of the entire sub department was Chinese, and she was a pretty nice lady. I don't think that she necessarily is focused on the engineering aspect so much as the administrative aspect. But, never really had any problems with her. Great atmosphere. She was always respectful to all the staff, all the people. So, I couldn't have been happier in terms of being able to do my job. Obviously, there were some days that were not as easy as others. And, once in a while you do get pressure and people, that are demanding things that might not necessarily seem reasonable. But on the whole, it was a great job, great experience, learned a new technology, which I'm not going to go into because I don't want to. One of the things I never do, and since I've been doing YouTube, I've had 3 different jobs with 3 different companies. I never really reveal any details about them because, people are looking out for where you're affiliated with and ways to either compromise you or compromise the people that are close to you or people that or organizations that you're a part of. And I think it's wrong. And unfortunately, I'd be happy to share with you some more specific details about the type of work I've done, but I don't think that it's really appropriate to do it on YouTube. And I also think that, eventually, um, I think that YouTube and your personal life have to be sort of separate. The work that I do on YouTube is, I think, kind of, just opening up discussions for people, letting people opine on things that you don't necessarily find at work, because it's not appropriate to talk about things at work that are explicitly political, that are controversial and things. And I understand that. That's why, for example, I would say it's pretty rare to have stand-up comedians invited to a workplace. I've never seen it. I'm sure it happens once in a while, but you do want the workplace to have sort of an atmosphere that's more, I guess, structured and focused. So I think it's vice versa. I don't think I want to bring in ideas that I do at work or things that I do at work that would affect the the discussion and themes of what I do on YouTube. Although, yeah, absolutely, I think that if it's one thing to like your career, but I don't think that the career I have is something that really meshes well with anything that I talk about on YouTube, whether it's um, freedom of speech, whether it is issues of the role of government in society, the role of spirituality in society, which I talk about once in a while, some identity issues, things like that. Um, Venezuela and Latin America. So those things, actually, I would say I was surprised how, there were a few people at work that were really, well informed on what's going on in South America. But for the most part, it was probably the least political place you could find, which was great. The place I had been before, my previous workplace, you did hear people talking about politics every once in a while, and it didn't really make for a great atmosphere. So that's about it. Thank you once again for remaining with the channel. I know it's not exactly the most thrilling content. I don't have the greatest graphics, but I hope that there's something in here that keeps you coming back. There is something I think I'll do. Mark Dice's channel is having trouble getting viewers because of the YouTube throttling. So he did ask that the channel link be shared, I believe, in the description. So I'm going to do that. That's because I'm a fan of his channel. I have read a couple of his books. I wouldn't say his books are, literary masterpieces, but they're good at documenting a lot of events about the things that he's talking about with, the gender wars and political correctness and things like that. So that's about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also subscribe to me on Bitchshoot and on Minds.com, as well as donate on Subscribestar if you can. All of those, the screen name is Chef Leopard, and on Gab.com, that is at Starscream85. And finally, on Parler, at Razor Ray, and I'll talk to you later.